Well, from personal experience, and I know that people squat because they are homeless, and they squat because rents are high. As a youngster in London, years ago when I first came to London, I squatted, and we went into houses that were abandoned or empty. We fixed them up, we maintained them, we kept them clean.
Right, if you read the Daily Mail or the Standard or any of these rags, you're going to get the bias, and people are going to be frightened. And squatters are all classed as people who are going to, you go out shopping for a minute and they're going to come in and occupy your house. These properties which well furnished, and the people involved in there, I don't want to call them squatters, because they're not squatting, they're using properties which have been empty for 15 years, and for the basis of making it open and used for the community.
Most people, 99% of the population, have never squatted and never visited squat. So I think they're fed various nonsense and probably tend to repeat what they get from such newspapers like this one.
Squatters, they're not bad. If they were bad people, I'd be one of the first people to say, come on, they're taking liberties, you've got to go. But they're not. If they were taking liberties, all I ever see them doing in them couple of shops was trying to improve them. If you're trying to improve something for the benefit of the people in the area, you're doing good. If you're a landlord that's purposely sitting on premises, not allowing anyone to use them, you're not doing any good. You're a social evil. Not the squatter, the landlord. Because he hasn't allowed the premises to be used on behalf of the people in the area.
Yeah, well, these sort of headlines don't help anybody. But the government and the powers to be, they just want to frighten people. Fear is what they're about. And headlines like this are going to make squatting, next to child murderers if it continues like this. And it's not fair.
And my son plays in the garden here, and he used to go along the roof of the warehouse, and one day he came back and he said, guess what, he's 11, and he said, guess what, there are squatters at the end of the thing. And he really got on well with them. They were very pleasant to him, he loved their company, they seemed to enjoy his company. And I said to him, well, maybe there aren't fairies at the bottom of the garden, but we've got the next best thing, we've got squatters. And I was really impressed with the way they came around and knocked on the doors and explained what they were doing and who they were, and just made it very clear, that they wanted to be part of the community and to be involved in the community and didn't pose any kind of threat at all.
All we wanted Mr. Taylor to do was to try to let us have one of these shops for the older people. But there's never any funding for that, but there's funding for security guards over here now, about 1,500 quid a day, and there's about, I think, 6 or 7 of them in there. 7. It's like Stalag 19, isn't it? Really, it's a 24-hour security service protecting the property of whoever.
It's just sad, and I really don't think anybody should own more than one property. Because at the end of the day, property it's not a luxury, it should be available, and leaving these places empty as they are now is just a disgrace.
I've asked to go in here and I want to do something, they've done it. I've asked you to do it legally and you don't want to know, you don't want to help me legally. They've done it illegally, but at least they've done it, and someone's done something. No, they're squatting, he's going to be.
I think the object of this exercise is really not against squatters, but with that legislation then there's a prospect, because I think Cameron and company are probably anticipating quite a lot of trade union political action which may well involve occupation of workplaces, colleges, and that sort of thing.
I mean, it is part and parcel of a bigger and more authoritarian approach to well, to social control. You know, it's about stopping protest. It's about stopping alternative lifestyles. It's about imposing a kind of conformity and saying, well, if you do these things, you will be punished, and they're just raising the stakes.
Well, squatters are not called fury, as Judge says they are good for Britain. Well, I'm not quite sure what is good for Britain, but